Hello everyone. Today in this particular video I'm going to explain you out that the experiment that I did on myself of not sleeping for 2 days straight. What did I get in turn? What was the actual outcome of doing this fancy experiment? This video consists of three parts. The first part explains that what was the actual reason, let me say it, why did I do this? The second part explains that what were the outcomes or the result of this particular experiment, and the third part explains the advice that I would give you, whether you should do this or you should avoid or you should refrain yourself from doing this. The first part is why, and let us explain why was I actually trying to do this. Actually, we think that the competition is increasing at a much faster rate, many folds actually, and it was the very same thought that was actually running in my mind. I just tried to keep myself ahead of the competition, and I thought, let us cut down the sleeping hours. And actually, this is a sort of motivation that the teachers in the educational industry give to us. They say that if you are sleeping for 8 hours, just reduce 2 hours and go to the very fancy number 6. If you are sleeping for 6 hours, just cut down few hours and go to 4 or 3. And if you are sleeping for 2 hours, let it be a very big number 0. And that is how it goes. And that was the actual reason why I did this fancy experiment. Now let us move to the result or the outcome that I actually got from this particular experiment. Like, the result part explains that when I was on the very first day, I was able to do the better amount of calculations. I was able to recall the numbers, constants actually, that were needed in the calculation. Everything went fine on the very first day, also in the night. But after passing of the very first day, the second day's morning, I experienced that some sort of thoughts are not actually working in the proper way. Like when I was trying to think about the question, I was struggling out to remember the constants or the values that were actually needed in the question. I was able to survive in the very morning, but sooner the afternoon came and so does the evening. Till evening, I was feeling out that I'm completely burned out. I was not able to even solve a single question. At the very same time, I experienced that my mind is not able to concentrate on the right things. Like, it is we can say that 50% of mind is still in the sleeping state and 50% of mind is in the calculation. And you would go nowhere if you are putting yourself on two boats. And that was what it was actually happening with me. The experiment looked very fancy. The experiment, when I tried to start it, I thought that I would be getting the efficiency 200%. But remember, the efficiency can never go higher than that of 100%. Let us move to the next part of the video, that is the advice that I would be giving you. The basic advice is that people say that you are a young guy, you can survive any sort of pressure, any sort of strain that is put on your back. But remember me, that is not at all practically possible. Since we are humans, when it comes to speaking about sleep, diet, exercise and health, you must not compromise at any cost. Because when you start compromising on these things, you would experience that the longevity of life actually decreases many folds. And in turn, you get nothing. That was what I did in the experiment. And after 2 days, actually I was not able to concentrate for 3 or 4 days straight. The efficiency of 2 days leads to the inefficiency of 3 or 4 days. And that was what the result explains, that if you are extraordinary, if you are an actually extraordinary human, you must try it. And if you are an ordinary human, you must focus on the study hours that you have been allocated. I have also seen this particular thing, that during the study hours of 10 to 12 hours, that is sufficient to crack an examination. People just distract or deviate themselves from studying hours. And there is a very important notion that they think that if we study in the sleep hours, we would be prioritizing out the things to be studied and our efficiency would increase in turn. But believe me, this is not what the actual explanation of the experiment is. The experiment explains that you must not cut down the sleep hours. whatever the study hours you have been allocated, if you are focusing on those, you will actually find yourself much ahead of the competition. Competition is not at all about cutting down the sleep hours. It is about focusing on yourself, and if you do focus on yourself, everything, exercise, health, diet, you in turn would get everything. Like there are very few people about whom you can say that they are good at everything whatsoever they do. They are actually not good at everything they actually do. They are just able to concentrate, and they are just able to manage out the time division actually. And that is what makes them ahead of the competition. And that is what is important for you actually to understand. If you are able to prioritize out the things, to focus on the things and not to get deviated from the task, you will also find after few months, few years, that you are much ahead of the competition. The competition even not resides either in the left or right of you. And that must be understood. And here comes the end of the video, which actually explains that whatsoever the hours have been actually allocated to you, you must prioritize them. You must not distract yourself in those hours. And if you are able to do so, you will get a better sleep. You will focus on yourself, and neither you need to cut down your sleep hours, nor do you need to just think about any another things. Thank you. If you have watched video till here, thank you a lot.